Welcome to the Trash Cats Trashcast. I'm Richard.
I'm Steven, and today we're talking scams. Scam culture. You can call it scam scat.
Scooby-Doo-boo.
If you want.
Scooby-Doo-bop.
Talking some shit. It was nice seeing you. You're back in Detroit.
Hell yeah. It was nice to visit the home country.
The native homeland.
Yeah, the native homeland. Go back to the motherland. Yeah.
Fuck, dude. All right. I have some stuff. Let's kick this. I feel out of the loop. This is our first episode being back on schedule. Mm-hmm. So let's kick it off with a nice and easy. How was your week?
Oh boy, it feels like a while since we did a proper "How was your week?"
That's what I'm saying. I got sick of asking it. I stopped caring about how our weeks went.
To be fair, for the most part, we usually know. We usually talk to each other.
Yeah.
It's been good. My weekend in Cincinnati was great. Got to see the family, hang out with you. I think it's fair I can tell this story on here. I don't think any of my family listens. I made really nice Italian food for my family who's been requesting it for a while, and I live far away, so finally when I get there, I went out and spent a bunch of money on ingredients. Steven went shopping with me. Oh. I was pulling the best of the best, and my uncle came over and mixed in his homemade pasta salad with mayonnaise and ketchup. No.
You gotta set it up.
Oh God.
I just remembered what happened.
He told me as I was in the kitchen, cooking everything. He's like, I brought some of my pasta from home so you can see how I've been making it. I was like, oh yeah, sure. That sounds great. I'd love to see and maybe give critique. I'm all about that. We're setting the plates. I gave him a little bit and he he takes one bite of it and then pulls out he pulls out some Tupperware from a bag next to him and says, "Oh, I brought this pasta. I want to show you how I make it." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So he's making it on this plate as he goes, and he puts down this dry cooked pasta. Oh God! And then he pulls out some diced onions from Kroger. And he offers, "Does anyone want a side of some onions?" And everyone's like, "No, we're good." And then he pulls out a bottle of mayonnaise, mayonnaise with avocado oil. I'll say that. I'll give him the credit as the little bit fancy craft, and a bottle of sugar-free Heinz ketchup. And he puts a nice big dollop of the mayo on the pasta and onions, and then just a little squirt of the ketchup, just enough to give it a little kick,
just to make it red.
Yeah,
it took me when you first told me this. It took me minutes to realize he was making his own pasta sauce out of mayo and ketchup.
He said he was buying that, and he was doing that instead of going out and buying jars of pasta sauce.
Oh God!
And he said he usually puts peas in it too. So
that's even grosser. That's so fucking.
But
funny,
I think
dude.
He mixed it up a little bit and then asked if anyone wanted to try it. We're all like, "No, we're good. We appreciate it." And then he mixed it into his the pasta that I just spent so long on making. I made a white butter wine gnocchi sauce or gnocchi with some fresh basil and some broiled tomatoes, and I made some garlic pesto bread and these roasted olives that were just fucking bomb shit. Bro. I've worked with Michelin star Italian chefs. I stole these recipes,
and they ain't got shit on your uncle.
He's got the hack, man. I spent too much time and money.
Need the trick.
I could have just asked him, how is it done? Teach me the ways.
That's so fucking funny, man.
Yeah.
You got a tattoo too.
Yes, I did. It's been the funniest thing that you were the one that told me you're going to get asked all the time. You have to be ready to answer the question of,
oh yeah,
what does it mean? Mm-hmm. Or what is it?
Has it begun?
It's every I really didn't think it would be every single person.
It's absolute the gas stations.
Well, I mean,
oh
like,
my
so
God.
I feel like my friends or something, like people I work with, that's one thing because they know me well, so they would assume that there's something there.
Yeah.
I haven't been around many strangers yet, so I'm not prepared for it to be. I mean, if a stranger asks, it's just, oh, it's a D&D thing. I feel like that's the quickest answer.
What? All right, you do that at a UDF in Cincinnati. Here's the line of questioning.
Mm-hmm.
What's your tattoo mean? Go ahead.
It's a D&D thing.
What's D&D?
It's a Dungeons and Dragons.
What are you, a nerd?
Yes.
Is it like wizards and shit?
That's exactly what it is.
Like some elf orc type stuff?
You're nailing it. You know more about D&D than you thought you did.
And then they'll go like this. And then walk away while they roll their eyes. Bro, Cincinnati gas
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Hostile battleground of judgment. The most ghetto motherfuckers just want to come right up to you and ask you shit.
Figure out what you're about.
They're just curious. Little curious street urchins.
I feel like the difference might be, I don't know. You're covered in
getting there.
Some kind of tattoo or piercing. So I feel like, I don't know, that's more interesting of a conversation to feel like you're approaching than me with my one.
That might be true.
It's a decent sized one, but
you get it a ton of people when you're checking out places, like when you got your wallet out because your like hands are on the counter. You'll get it, especially at work. You're gonna get random customers asking him. The only reason I bring it up at all is just be prepared for passive aggressive comments. And
it's
good to have a snappy response. Just shut them down.
My aunt was. So I had told my aunt what it was for, and I gave her the full details of it's like, my name from this character, and it's also the name of the street, and like she recognized the name of the street and all that, and like it made sense, and it was like I felt like we had a cohesive like, oh, okay, cool, that's really neat. And then my uncle asked, 20 minutes later, oh, what's that? And it's like, and she said, it's from a video game. And I was like, no, it's a, how Keith and I play, Dungeons and Dragons. And, I explained it a little bit more. Or Keith and I couldn't even get out Dungeons and Dragons. That's what it was. It's like I kept trying to say, like me and Keith, and she's like, it's the fantasy thing. And she like almost, I couldn't tell if she didn't know Dungeons and Dragons or she just didn't want to say Dungeons and Dragons because Satanism.
That's right.
Yeah, it was like
that's fun.
She didn't want to admit that someone she knew was playing with the devil's game.
You got any honorable mentions?
I don't.
Oh man.
Oh well, here's what I didn't do: is I didn't ask you how was your week.
It's about damn time. All right, so I feel like I did a 180 since it wasn't last week. We recorded the Idealist Manifesto. It was like 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It took forever to edit because we had some technical difficulties.
Yeah.
But from the listener's perspective, I feel like I've done a 180 on some thoughts, some beliefs since last week.
Since listening to it
oh my
2,500 times?
Terrible. Now, here's what my takeaways. I like thinking and writing weird shit, like a lot. And I think it's how I work through thought processes.
Mm-hmm.
And it normally takes a little time to like figure out exactly where I land on things. And that I figured out things writing it, and then with some time listening, I have a slightly more nuanced takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned one kind of big thing about myself. So, Manifesto's takeaway initially was that there's no point believing in something that's not perfect. So if you have to believe in something, it should be idealist. And in that sense, I really do think I am much more of an idealist than I think, and that's why the world's so fucking bleak, because I know how things should be and they're not, so it's disappointing all the time.
Right.
So believe in perfect things, like the idea of compassion or whatever, those type of things, opposed to the means itself. So that's the initial takeaway. More nuanced takeaway with a little bit of time. And the thing I realized is I believe things really strongly, but they don't actually matter to me. No. No. So like
I feel like this is something that I've known for a long time, but I've never been able to put in such a clear and concise.
I had a flip switch moment. So I'm listening and I'm like, yes, I agree, but I don't feel it anymore. It's like that's
but I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that was 3 weeks ago. I don't care about this. So, and I had a similar, not like in a bad way, but I had the same feeling over the weekend because how we hung out was kind of like weird timing. It was like, I think I saw you 3 times, yeah?
Yeah.
But it was like relatively short amounts of time, like 3 days in a row. And between that and I'm thinking about this other shit, I had a really good reminder. Like, when I'm with people, I really care. Like, if you were, like, if I didn't see you all weekend, you were gonna leave, I would actually, or like, I like fucked over one of my friends and didn't get a chance to like say something before they left, I would actually care about that. Or like,
right.
When I know I'm going to see them, I actually like feel emotionally engaged to some extent.
Yeah.
And then the second I'm alone, I feel like I'm actually a psychopath. Like, there is like a hard brain switch I have. And I think I'm getting that more and more. Like, when I'm actually engaged with people, I feel like a very different person than I am in private. And there's like the juxtaposition between that dualism or whatever the fuck is like pretty extreme. And I think I'm picking up on that more and more because I'm less engaged with people and in my head quite a bit. I don't know if I realized how extreme my on and off switches are. It's
one of my favorite things of like when people I know listen to the podcast, they usually will bring up something about like, wow, Stephen, he gets like really, passionate about, something, or like he's the way you go into hyperbole and the extremes of things is very, I'm used to it. I'm so immune to it. But it's like, it could be whatever topic and you get very passionate about it and like a genuine way. It's a very genuine sounding way that like, if you're going to speak to something, you're going to really speak to it.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool, especially from the point of view of, a recording medium. But like, I know deep in my heart that you don't give that much of a fuck. And it's like, it's a passing thing, like, because especially if you listen to it in the way of a podcast, it's like, we're not talking about the same shit we were 3 weeks ago because,
right.
if both of us were really that passionate and that engaged in I'm trying to think of a good example. Like the wine art forgery. I mean, art forgery is one I feel like we talk about a decent amount, but like it's like no one really gives a fuck. We can move on from it and live our lives and it's whatever. But for the people that are just tuning in for these conversations,
sure,
Stephen is extremely passionate about a lot of things, a lot of opinions and thoughts.
But I feel like I actually am. Mm-hmm. But my brain does not allow me to be engaged long. Mm-hmm. Where, like, if you ask me whatever, like, passionate thing I said, if you ask me a month later, my take's probably going to be the same or, like...
True, yeah.
Slightly
It's not something that you're dwelling on. You're passionate about it because it's the topic that we're discussing and then immediately moving on from it afterward.
Yeah, but it's I feel like it's funny because, Sarah's so, like, bubbly. She actually has some kind of, like, not serious, but she has, like, mental health stuff too, and she has tough days, but she's a very, like, energetic, bubbly person, and I could be like very like soft and like happy around her, and then when I walk to the next room, my thoughts are completely different. Like, I feel like I have competing like personality types. Like not like my I don't know. I feel things really extreme and then not at all. where I think the more I'm engaged with people I care about, the better off I'm doing. But is the second I'm alone, I don't have any interest in it. Like, as soon as, like, kind of like how you can be like you say with texts and stuff, or you just don't have necessarily the urge to reach out. As soon as I'm alone, the outside world is completely gone.
Yeah, no, I 100% feel that. Mm-hmm. Of like, if I'm left, like, no one's texting me or emailing me, like, whatever, calling me, it's very, very easy to completely ignore the entire outside world. So, like, eventually I'll reach out, but...
Sure. Yeah. To me, it normally feels like a chore, and then I'm glad I did it later. Mm-hmm. Like, most of the time I hit you up or whoever, it's almost like a compulsion where I know it's been X amount of time and I'll feel better for doing it, and that's what I... like, should check in on people or, like, say what's up. But yeah, I normally don't enjoy the process of it until we're in a conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, I'm glad I fucking hit him up or whatever. But it doesn't come naturally or easily. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Samara, I was talking with her about that of my niece of like, I know I don't reach out as often as I could, and it's, I did it, my dad did it, my grandpa did it, I have friends that do it of just, but then when we see each other, it feels good, and it's just like it was yesterday when we, last talked, but she told me just, like, set reminders. If it's something like my phone's smart, I just got to utilize the feature of, like, remind me in 20 minutes to,
God, she's
text so-and-so. And it's like, oh, yeah.
She's already smarter than both of us.
Yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, my phone I have, like, what's it with Samsung, Bixby?
Oh, God, it's fucking Bixby.
But, like, it can do so many things, and I don't utilize it at all.
No, because its name's Bixby. I don't want a digital butler named Bixby telling me what to fucking do.
Let me put Cortana on my Samsung.
But I think if this will be the psycho part, if I didn't have to worry about loss of freedom, I feel like I could be capable of great, terrible things. Like, I can be like very passionately.
If it weren't for damn consequences,
dude, they're the worst. I just want to do things that I know I can, and then the rest of the time, I feel like my entire goal is like, like a lot of people, it's like resource acquiral or like nice things or whatever. I just want to feel like, okay, like if I'm like just chilling, watching a movie at the end of the night, that's like really good and difficult to get to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that's such a tricky thing to just relax sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
You're like, no. You're a relaxer.
I am. I do. I find it when
I just want to commit meth
hold
crimes.
on. My cat's having a spasm. Let me make sure she didn't unplug my shit.
Does she want to be interviewed for the show?
Apparently she does. She just fucked up a whole bunch of cords. Okay. Or okay. No, I mean, like, when I'm in work mode, I recognize that, like, midsummer, when it's, like, really busy, if I take 2 straight days off of work, it feels weird going back. Because, like, I've just started to turn down, and then, like, if, you know, I have to go immediately back to 100 miles an hour.
Josh actually put it, well, the guy that did Ricky's tattoo, he had a good I was saying the same thing, but he had better words for it, where that he really does not like to change states. Like, if he's up, he wants to stay up. If he's asleep, he wants to be like that.
Yes.
Changing states is hard. And I've always felt like art specifically is really momentum based because of that. Like, changing states takes extra fucking energy.
Yeah. I really, man, that's one of the things that makes me so fucking, I will go out of my way to make sure that, like, when I do have time off, I'll be able to spend that time, you know, how I want to, or relaxing or something. And then when something changes in that and I have to, you know, go back out of my way to do something, it's some of the biggest rage that I feel on a regular basis is like when you know, when I spend so much time planning on something and then my expectations are high, and then
a small inconvenience happens and it's like,
it's like
a plan, yo.
Yeah, it's an unruly, you know, compared to, you know, the offense, it's not worth the amount of anger that I feel for that. And I recognize it, and it's not, you know, it's not like something I can't get over, but it does suck.
Yeah. Well, how about this? Before we get to my 180-degree switch up on my scam take for today, let me preface it with tying it back into compassion, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on compassion? I don't know where I want to go with this, but it's relevant to scams. And I also don't know if I agree with myself from 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. So I am to a fault for sure, because it's definitely bitten me in the ass. To a fault, a compassionate person. I really do feel like it's a genuine, it's a good trait to see in people, but I don't know. I feel like it's a very important thing to have. As far as like making the world a better place kind of thing. Like, that's the vibe that I think of when I think of, hold on.
Let me stop you right there.
Hold on. Let me fucking continue. I feel like that part of the problem is to be compassionate, there is an underlying trust that you kind of have to put yourself out there. That's like part of the whole deal.
Yeah.
So when you do that, usually in the situations where you're putting yourself out, it's for someone who, I was going to say, it's for someone who hasn't earned it yet, who you don't know what to expect from them. Because otherwise, you know, you're not really being vulnerable when it's, you know, people that you know and you know, understand their motives and what they want to do. It's a strength and a weakness.
Yeah. No, you're super compassionate, especially to stray cats and
yes,
people you know. I guess
people I know who mix in mayonnaise and ketchup into my fine dining cuisine.
And I tend to think of myself as pretty compassionate to people I care about.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that might be where we have a little divide, because when you say it's important to be compassionate to make the world a better place, why would we offer people that we have no implicit trust with compassion? And do we actually want the world to be a better place is the bigger question, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want the world to be different?
So to answer the first, I realize in my view of trust, especially, and this is something we've also, I'm going to just quit saying this is something we talked about, because we've definitely talked about it.
We've matured in our podcasting stage.
Yeah, but
we've talked about it all, so we don't need to say it anymore.
Yeah, so I'm not from the school belief that trust is so much earned from the get-go. I mean, it is, but I don't think it's to the degree that some people mean it when other people say it. I trust fairly easily, but that trust it can be removed very quickly as well.
Sure.
I'm very happy to give people the benefit of the doubt and to, you know, try. I mean, there's definitely times when that's not 100% true, but for the most part, I'd say 99% of the time, I'm very trusting and I want to have the best expectations out of people.
Sure. Let me push for more extremeness. You're at home on your day off, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go to the gas station. Some dude wants some change. That's something I know you probably very often do.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice, compassionate thing, right?
Not as often as I used to, but
sure.
Yeah.
But that same day, you're off the rest of the evening. You're not online donating all your money to charity. You're not pushing for world peace. And I think, like, that sounds so silly, right? But I think most people are pretty compassionate in benign ways, but people aren't being like actively compassionate to the point of trying to change the world. And I think that's because no one actually wants things to change that much or enough to like go out of their way or sacrifice something.
That's, you know, I think you're hitting the nail on it. It's not that people don't want the world to change. It's that they might want the world to change, but an inconvenience in your day-to-day life or a lifestyle change of like, you know what, I know I was, you know, going to save up to get a car this year or get actually buy a house instead of renting. But, you know, I think instead I'm just going to donate my money to this charity, or I'm going to go from, you know, I'm going to take off some time from work every week instead of working, you know, my 38 hours a week. I'm just going to move it down to, you know, 30 so I can go, you know, out and, you know, hold signs or protest and like on a regular basis. And
So, like, Ohio just passed, even though Republicans are trying to break the state constitution to get it removed, abortion supposedly is enshrined now for the state of Ohio.
Yeah.
That's something I made the very minimal effort, because it's one of the only like voting issues I care about to like go vote for, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's minimal effort, but I think it's important and a relatively bigger ask compared to most daily things to like get up and go to some stupid place. But I think in general, I don't think people really want things to change that much.
Mm-hmm.
Like if the world was a utopia, I don't think people would be happy. Like we want a chaotic, fucked up world. Like in my head as I'm saying this, it's like, of course we want things to be better, but no one's interested in devoting their life to that, or very few people are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's part of us that thrives in the turmoil of being an imperfect creature in a fucked up place.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't really feel the need for things to be better. Like, I want to be better, but I'm kind of at peace with this place being like a fucked up place. Like, fuck it. Right?
I mean, I don't want to fully throw that under the bus of like, that's lazy and shitty, but kind of that's lazy.
I don't think it's lazy if you do the things right. This is where like my not give a fuck meets the passion part, because I'm gonna do the things that should make it better. Like I'm go vote for the thing. Yeah, but if it doesn't, like, who the fuck cares?
So from that perspective, I was gonna say this anyways, but this is like the argument of I think that the people that are actively thinking about, doing good, but like don't, want to, I guess like me, like that's me too. Like I'm not going to, donate a bunch of my money. I mean, to a bunch, different charities and all this stuff. Like I got to make a living too. But whatever. The point is like you be, what's the phrase? There's a phrase for it. Be the change you want to see in the world.
I fucking hate that.
Yeah, you hate anything like that. You hate any
you know what the quote should
positive.
Be? You know what the quote should be?
What?
Is we are more important than other people. That's the real quote.
Because some fucking white supremacist group will take that and use it instead.
That doesn't matter because I'm more important than even them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we know that. But
those cool guys don't stand a chance against me, okay?
Rad guys with their swastika forehead tattoos.
Dude, it's such a cool tattoo.
Cool as hell.
We should give them those tattoos away free to anyone who wants it. But they have to get it on their face or hands.
Down.
I saw a tattoo shop that does that, and I was like, that's actually a pretty clever little idea, Mm-hmm. Make them identify themselves.
Yeah, it's free if you do it in a place where everyone's going to see it all the time.
Yep.
The point, like I really do feel like that's the thing of like you can treat people with kindness in a general way, and like there comes a point where when you try to do too much, you get overwhelmed with it. I think especially over the last couple years of my life,
I don't think that's
been
true.
That way where I watch too much of the news and I start to like care too much. And that's what you brought up the point of like people, watching the, a school shooting or something. And it's like,
it's a cop out.
How is that a cop out?
Because it's not that, it's too much of a bummer. It's, this is bumming me out and I care about how I'm feeling more. Which I don't think is bad.
Being somebody that wants to do good and whatever doesn't mean that you're not allowed to get sad or you're not allowed to get tired or get overwhelmed. You're only an animal.
I'm thinking.
You can't say that just because someone takes some downtime because they're overwhelmed with their life and the events,
selfish?
The events that they're spending time with. No, it's not selfish. So if you don't disengage from time to time, you're going to wear yourself out.
Well,
if you wear yourself out, you're not good to anybody. It's like if you don't
But
sleep.
I'm pro disengaging, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's bad, but it is selfish.
I think it is selfish in the way that you're taking care of yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's good, and people should probably do that a lot more than pretending to be compassionate.
I don't think those two things are mutually exclusive.
That's fair. But, like, I think what I'm trying to get at is I believe in being compassionate, but I'm not going to spend much. I'm not willing to sacrifice much to be compassionate to someone I don't care or trust for.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. That's a fair way of saying that. That's a different statement than saying that the world sucks and I'm okay with that.
Those are different statements, but for me, those things feel hand in hand, because if the world didn't suck, I don't think I'd feel that way.
How would that change then?
If I felt the world, we've had a couple rounds on this one. I feel like the world is exactly 50% good, 50% bad.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on a person's perspective on that status of hope of the world, I think dictates quite a bit of how much they want to change it, fix it, engage in it, disengage, care for people, not trust people. I think it determines quite a bit. It's the cliche of your worldview, right? Depending on how you view the world, I think dictates quite a bit how much compassion you want to put into strangers. Where if I see the world as exactly as fucked as it is good, probably tend to see it more negatively, but I try to keep it even. I have no reason to try to change something that I feel like is the way it is purely out of human nature. I don't feel like it's inherently changeable to begin with. And if it's going to take something from me to help, I would choose to help someone in front of me, right? I don't want to make the world worse, but I'm not willing to hurt myself to help someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's probably a good thing that a lot of people are dishonest about.
To take it to one of your extremes,
please.
So we've talked about what's it called when the people who are like when they talk about climate change and stuff, it's like just accelerationists or whatever.
Accelerationists want to speed up not just climate change, but that's where it started. They want to speed up the rate of destruction so we get a great reset quicker. If everything falls apart, we can build it back better. That's the theory. They're mostly terrorists, but there's some interesting thought theories out there too.
Yeah. It's the Thanos snapping of terrorism. Mm-hmm. It's there's a in like that in that kind of thought process is if we're thinking that there's no way that we can make the whole world a better place.
So you do local.
No. Hear me out. If you can't make the whole world a better place, then why, what's the, or at least not before we all, nuke ourselves. What's the point of doing it? And we don't know how much longer we have on this planet individually, let alone how long the species has on this planet. What's the motivation there? It's easy. I feel like you can walk down that path for miles if you want to, but if the goal isn't so much just to save the whole world, it's just to make it a little bit, tidy up the house, put everything in right angles so it's a little bit nicer to look at while we're here. How does that affect your world? How does that affect your, what's the word I'm trying to look for? Your motivation.
Personally?
If you lower the expectation a little bit and you say, okay, well, achieving world happiness is impossible. That's not going to happen. Not in our lifetimes. But
I'm saying there's
many lifetimes.
There's no reason to want that.
To have nicer shit. Have everybody be a little bit more comfortable. You don't think that would make the world make the world around you a little bit nicer to enjoy?
Of course it would. But
yeah,
why would the want be... It's not real.
What's not real?
World peace. A perfect world.
So that's what I'm saying. So like that part, I can agree with you on that. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
So yeah, you're like...
even if we've somehow managed to get our entire United States of America to be the best, place to be a human and free
socialist
rights
paradise, baby.
and everyone's just happy to be here and no one's like violent because they have less or whatever. There's no like, even if we can picture this hyperbolic great, utopia, then spreading it else, like what's the goal? You push the agenda on everyone else kind of thing, and then
I'm just saying I think it's a bad goal where I don't think the goal of improving especially the material conditions or like practical happiness of others is a goal worth having. I think it might even be a bad thing. Where
I disagree with you on that.
I feel like I could convince you.
Like I said, I agree with like when you get to the larger gates of like, are we going to make, is America going to be,
let me
can we live in a community that doesn't suck ever? No.
Let me clarify. It is a good thing, but I think it's like philosophically a bad thing to attempt to change someone else's reality opposed to your own. Where of course we all want the world to be better, right? But it's not a real thing because human nature. Where if I'm in a position where I have the decision, right, to free an enslaved nation, so I'm somehow a very influential person, and I'm brokering a deal with some desolate country, right? And I can snap my fingers and free people.
Mm-hmm.
You should do that, right? That is the right thing to do, right?
Yeah.
But I think having the goal of being like a normal person and your goal is to opposed to a focus on self, but the focus of improving or shifting the realities of people you don't know, I feel like is a like bad philosophy to have.
I still don't understand why it's a bad philosophy to have.
Simply because it is not in benefit of ourselves.
I disagree with that. I think that it is in benefit of yourself.
That relies on the logic of like giving makes me feel good.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because, and here's why. Say, okay, we'll keep it closer to home. Of like,
we can't keep it closer to home. It has to be distant.
For this example, let's keep it closer to home.
I might disagree.
Okay.
All right.
So let's say,
we'll see the setup.
Let's say, you're walking around your city and you realize there's a widespread homeless population, as there is in a lot of cities. So what's the cure for that? So then the idea is that you get...
That's irrelevant.
No, here, let me fucking finish, god damn it.
It's irrelevant.
So you work, your whether it's your city, whatever, somehow the goal is set to not only find, to home the homeless, to find health, mental health care for, the people that need it, find drug rehabilitation, whatever, like all the resources are there and they're given. Now you can walk down the street and you don't have homeless people that are living on the street that you have to, face in a day-to-day life where you walk down the street and there's just people like without anything.
I understand, but that kind of directly contradicts the point I'm getting at when it's people that don't directly affect you, right? Because helping people like that is a selfish goal that I think is good, right? That's a good thing to do. It helps them. And I think people are driven to do that out of a lot more selfish reasons than they realize, because looking at like decay, decrepit, dying, like debris on the street sucks, right?
Right.
So it's good for you. It's good for them. You get to feel the goodness of giving and all that shit. But I'm talking like helping people you can't see. That is a different question, right? Our whole world isn't our city.
I still don't think that it's a bad thing to help those people.
I think it's a good thing, but I think it's bad.
I think it's fair to say start start at home, but I don't think it's a bad thing to help people you can't see.
All right. Well, I'm gonna push you this way then. So, if the goal is, why would you help people at home that are suffering less than people that are suffering more farther away? How is that justified?
I would say only because you're proximity. You're aware of you can see what's going on.
That doesn't sound good.
Okay. Well, if the thing is that you have to, apply your own mask before you help others, start in your own community, make as you mocked me before with this do local shit, but it's real. That's if you start on a local, a smaller scale, you can accomplish more than if you're, spending money flying back and forth to,
what if you
Africa or something or whatever, and you're doing all this, work over there. You might be able to affect a change.
And dollar for dollar, you could affect more change farther away, on average.
That's true. You're probably right on that.
That's the whole effective altruism. But the whole thing is like, if we really care, you give it to the people that need the most, regardless of proximity. Because what's the reality of proximity? Is it people in our city are more morally valuable than farther away?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see where you're going on that. The point I would make is that I think the thing that we talk about is like you can't do it all when you donate to one charity. Well, how come you didn't donate to this other charity? Or how come you didn't, help these people? Whatever. That's the kind of the part of like.
Well, that's why you have to give to the best charity.
Yeah, you have to be.
That's the theory.
Exactly.
That's part of the theory of effective altruism is giving to the best, most effective way of being compassionate.
Mm-hmm.
And often I think that contradicts people's selfishness to like help what is closest to them or what also changes their reality. So my amended statement earlier is, of course it's good to help people regardless of if they're close or far, but I feel like the incongruence in philosophy of the want to help people that it genuinely doesn't affect your life, I feel like is kind of a bad way to think.
Mm-hmm.
Where, to your point, with that thinking, I would have to agree with you that helping someone closer to you where it could affect your daily life is better, theoretically, for selfish reasons. If it was unselfish, then helping people far, if it was more effective, makes much more sense. But my kind of whole point overall is that almost all compassion is selfish. And I feel like focusing on it as a concept of to other people that you don't care about is kind of bad. It's like being a little witchcaster, trying to like shape other people's realities out of like an ego.
I disagree that all compassion is selfish.
Think of the most compassionate people you know. They're a real piece of shit, right?
On the
Just think about it.
They're real fuckheads if you really think about it. Yeah, because you have like I just said, when you first brought up the word compassion, you have to put yourself at a vulnerability to be compassionate, to be empathetic and compassionate to someone else. Whether, it's something that if you're showing compassion to someone, it means that you are either doing or giving, or whether it's like just giving your time for something, like you're giving something for that. And it's a selfless act in that way.
I can provide many disagreeable examples. Think of the rich person that gives just for the tax break, or gives when it's a zero sacrifice from them, but they actually gain more from it.
Right. So those examples, that's not a person being compassionate. That's a person
That's fair.
Playing the tax game.
There's people that do it for nonprofit charities. They're on the board and they are making a sacrifice in one realm of their life, but they're getting a lot more like clout or like respect, or they're more likely to be able to get their position for office or whatever the fuck.
And if the giving of their participation in the charity, I'm saying that I'm sure there are examples. You could probably count them on one hand, but I'm sure there are examples of people that are doing that actually do care about making some kind of a change.
Sure.
And the rest is a bonus.
I just wish they would admit they're a lot more selfish than they pretend. That's the part that drives me nuts. Because when a genocide happens halfway across the world and you see someone crying, that actually bothers me.
Yeah.
Because
someone crying here, you mean?
Yeah. Like it's can even be good to care, but there's I don't know, such a fakeness to people's compassion. So what I want to transition
it's
this,
like put on your boots, get a gun, and fly over there. Then.
Yeah, do something, or shut the fuck up and stop crying on the internet. Like, what I want to.
It sounds so heartless,
dude. There's some. I won't go there. I want to transition it to. I'm picking my battles tonight. I want to transition this to scamming and scam culture. Right, we had the whole rise of the NFTs. Literally the research on it's like 99 point something percent of NFTs ended up being scams, different coins. It's all been like all the influence, the Jake Pauls, Logan Pauls, the Lena Rhodes, whatever the fuck, like all these people, scam culture, internet scams, credit card scams, fake drug scams. The FBI is even scamming on the drug game. Like, we've moved from honor culture to scam culture. And with COVID,
we have two settings.
yeah. With COVID, that got extra hyped. So here's where there's a long ass fucking windup. What are we, an hour in? Compassion in relevance to scamming. Mm-hmm. And my hot take will be, aside from non-capable or non-willing participants, so like old people, disabled people, being scammed without, like somebody just gets into your shit without you having done anything, that type of shit. I think people that get scammed deserve it. And I love all those documentaries, CoffeeZilla, it's quite entertaining, but I refuse to feel any empathy for people that get scammed if they played a role in it happening.
So let's say like you go, it's your first time traveling to another country. And well, I'm going to pick Paris because that was my first time I was ever, I wasn't scammed, but I was scammed, but that was a different time. The first time we're at the Eiffel Tower and there's a woman that walked up to us and she had no shoes on and she was speaking in a different language, but she had a sign written in English. And it said basically like, I need, money to pay for, food for my child and this and that and this and that. And I pulled out the money in my wallet and I tried to give her, a couple euro or whatever. And there was a 5 in my wallet and she snatched it and ran away.
Good for
but
her.
I caught her.
What?
And
you tackled her?
No, I didn't tackle her.
You beat her up?
I know. I went over to her. I kind of chased her down and I got my money back from her. Damn. Just, like, hey, like, no, that's not fucking cool.
Did you spritz her with the spray bottle
I was a child at the time. I was like 12. But she, I walked over and I got my money back and argued with her for a minute. And then I saw later on there was an American tourist group. They were all wearing their American flag shirts. And so they walked up, realized there was a few of these women out here on the plaza, underneath the Eiffel Tower. And they walked up to her they walked up to the American tourists and they, we're trying to scam them too. And you hear other people in like groups around them saying like, don't give them money. Do not give them money.
They're just spinning the strangers.
Yeah. But then the time I was for real scammed was when I went to go exchange my US currency into European currency.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Oh my God.
Currency exchange. You probably got all fake bills back too. That's crazy, bro. Now, here's the thing though. I want to clarify. If she would have got away with your money, I don't feel like that's a scam. You just got straight robbed, right? Like,
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I get your point.
The scam, the grift is,
but you're a little vulnerable
to play on other people's sympathies and compassion.
Sure, but I'm more. I want to get more directly. For the most part, it's going to be financial decisions people made at a greed, right? When people invest in something sketchy or trust someone with their money that they clearly shouldn't have, or answer the Nigerian prince email.
Yeah.
I think giving to someone that's like on the streets and they try to take your wallet, I can have empathy for that.
Yeah.
But
how do you feel about the fake Microsoft emails? Then people call up and they're like, Like, what's wrong with my Microsoft account?
That's a great one. It's a good old phishing attack. Yeah.
They like, oh, you owe us money. You have to go buy
You deserve it.
Target gift cards.
You deserve
and
it.
Mail them to this address in California.
Absolutely deserve it. I hope they wipe you out.
It's the wildest shit, but it's crazy how much it happens.
And to clarify,
they make
once again,
billions of dollars doing that.
Like I said, old people, young people, they're safe. Sick people. I'm talking about someone who should have known better. Yeah. And I tend to think if you're dumb enough to have your money taken away from you like that, you probably needed the lesson.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. It's probably good it happened. Mm-hmm. And nowadays, as long as it was in your bank account, you're probably getting your money back.
Yeah.
But I think this, like, especially the influencer people that do these scams, it's like, yo, they are pieces of shit, but they're pieces of shit for lots of reasons. And it is scummy because most of their audience probably is young.
Yeah.
But if they can create fame for themselves and get big enough where dumb people give their money to them, mm-hmm. I am not that angry at that.
Yeah, this is a good time to mention that we're going to start a Patreon soon.
No, we got a meme coin coming out. Trash tokens, baby.
Is that a thing yet? Trash tokens?
I'm positive it is. There's like.
What do they call the tokens at Chuck E. Cheese? Did they have a name? Can we just use that?
Rat coin.
Yeah, rat coins. It had rats on it. The musical rat pizza place.
But no, I need you to try to convince me, is scamming someone actually bad?
It is when you use the word bad. That's the thing. Yeah, is it morally bad to knowingly take advantage of someone's ineptitude?
Now here's the thing: it is bad. I know it is. I can pretend to be passionate.
You want me to explain it to you?
I know what's good or not, right? But
you want me to try to explain it to you in hopes that I won't be able to phrase it correctly, and you can poke holes in it, and then make me think that it's not bad. And then
I think it's one of those things. Like it just. Who the fuck cares, right?
The people who got scammed, I guess.
But they're dummies. Should we even value their opinion?
It's not the people who got scammed, yes, and then the people that are close to them, like, well, you said no, it doesn't count for old people. Oh. But I think about like my aunts and uncles getting like scammed on like a, one of those email phishing things.
Did they need to learn a lesson?
No, they need to learn how to use their phone, but they're 70-something years old.
See, they're old. It's hard, though, because there's so many qualifiers of, like I couldn't scam at random. Like, I've run a couple rackets, a couple confidence games before. I can't
some fake drugs, some vegetable laxatives, and tell people they're ecstasy.
I refuse to do that. I'm a great drug dealer. Best quality stuff.
He's got the best Viagra.
Can't destroy my street rep, but you can't scam at random. Like fucking people up at random. Mm-hmm. Like it's the same shit as like doing a drive-by in a random house.
Yeah,
couldn't do it.
Yeah,
but if I know who's there?
This person's a dummy and they suck and they have some dollars to lose.
But I couldn't scam at random because there's so many disqualifiers of no, this person, there's a understandable reason they would have fallen for it, or they don't really deserve to learn that lesson the hard way or whatever. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of people who do. And I think a lot of it is it stems from greed. Right? They thought they could be the one who wins something by taking a chance, even though they know it's unreasonable, because they thought they were going to get something so good that they were willing to overlook their dumbness. Mm-hmm. And then I was reading this article right before we started. It was an interesting article from a Singapore bank website about scamming. And their point of view, which is a crazy view for a random bank's website, was that they felt the vulnerability involved in most people falling for scams is out of loneliness. That it's a form of engagement that to some degree or another makes them feel special, and that because of that, they're willing to extend unreasonable trust to feel some sort of connection with someone.
That's actually, that's a kink. It's called a pay pig.
It is. So
that's a thing.
I am down for most kinks, but that is one that I just have never had any interest in.
That's a rough one. It's like
you got to be really rich to be willing to fuck her, like even to experiment with that.
Yeah, that's one of those. Like, I'm not into the kink shaming, but man, that's hard to get on board with.
I'm not into kink shaming except when it's a kink I want to shame. And
yeah, specific people for their kinks.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I would like to actually. This is a good. So we've been listening to a lot of the Hard Men podcasts.
Oh yeah,
and I think I'd like to take a page out of our boy Eric Kahn's book and read to you a Bible quote.
Oh, please do.
Yeah. So this is from the King James Version of the Bible.
It's my favorite.
There's many versions, but this is the one we're talking about today.
Mm-hmm.
The book of Proverbs 26:11. As a dog returneth to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly.
That's so good.
It's just fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. I know, that's the other one. The other way. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Fool me 3 times, I'm just fucked.
Yeah, fool me 3 times, back on you.
I don't know. There's a lot of things I can care about sometimes. But
yeah,
scamming,
I think like you said, I think it's very, situation specific of.
It is.
I think it's a little, you can't say that everyone who gets scammed deserved it.
Just a lot. A lot of them.
There's a lot of people out there that it does happen to. Now, I wouldn't even say, you can't even say most people, because I feel like most of the time people getting scammed is not the people that probably deserve it. It's probably old people and, people that are being completely taken advantage of.
But I think
but that doesn't mean that it's not happening a lot, that people are getting scammed. That, I would agree with those people deserve it.
I think the thing that ties most scam victims together, though, really might be the loneliness factor. I think that kind of works.
Yeah.
What do you think of this logic? This is such a condescending.
That's a great way to start any statement.
So what do you think of this logic? This is such a condescending thought that when I was younger, I did not understand at all. And as I've gotten older and more condescending, I seem to understand it more and more. When somebody steals something and you have the logic like, oh, it's okay. They probably needed it more than me.
Yeah.
That desperate piece of shit out there committing crimes, he probably needed it more than me. I kind of get that now.
That desperate street urchin.
Yeah. Give a cat a bone, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of get that though.
Yeah, no, it's true. It is a condescending thing, but it's also a
mad condescending.
It's a de-escalation of the situation. Just,
it is.
Yeah.
Are you going
to go out full manhunt style and find the man who's, stole the $3 out of your wallet? Or are you gonna?
God. I just have so many memories of people trying to kill each other over being short $5 on that. Jesus fuck, dude. About to fucking home invade this dude for shorting like 2 pills. Like,
so fucking. Well, if you don't do it, then people are going to realize they can just short you all the time.
Exactly, bro.
Yeah.
Got to bring your own scale, motherfucker. You show up to deal with your own scale. Like, no. They'd be putting their finger on the scale, you know?
I can't imagine going. I mean, like, I've never bought copious amounts of drugs or anything really harder than, you know, weed from people I didn't know. But it would be so wild. I think it would be such a bold fucking move to show up and like they weigh it out and they give it to you. And then you're like, hold up, let me check real quick.
It's just
I feel like if you're dealing like with larger numbers of money than I was dealing with, maybe.
The thing is,
if you were like buying it to also sell it.
Yeah, that's part of it. The thing is unless you're dealing with like real shit, no one uses scales.
Yeah.
Like heroin isn't even sold by weight. Crack, heroin, cocaine. Unless you're buying more than an ounce, no one weighs anything. It is all scam on scam on scam. It's just the drug isn't what you're buying, and the amount does not weigh what they say. It's actually absurd as fuck, bro. But everything else in drug dealing and scamming, all that shit, it's all social work, right? It's all communication and connection. Like you could be with a killer and like call them out on their shit being light and reweigh it as long as you're cool with them. Or you could go to some dude for a 10 bag and try to do that and get shot. Like it's all that's the one of the really interesting part, because in that world, your whole day-to-day thing is like jumping from interaction to interaction with like fucked up people. Yeah. And there's so many, I mean, so many negatives, right? But there's so many like weird, I don't know, you like learn to read people or navigate them to keep yourself safe or whatever. Drugs are rad. Drugs are rad.
Dude, I think about what you told me last time all the time. Just how you know a drug dealer's good is if he has
Viagra.
Yeah, Viagra.
If they do crack and heroin, it's good. They'd be doing it big. Ice is coming up big in Cincinnati right now.
Oh yeah,
meth is on the rise right now.
They're spreading it out of Florida, huh?
That's because all these. It's harder to get new addicts on the fentanyl because people are dying so often, and more people are trying not to use that aren't like lifelong. So meth is really big.
They're trying not to use, so I'm just gonna do meth instead.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's
Jesus
the logic,
fuck.
man. Or once meth, like
because meth's not questionable at all.
It doesn't kill you the same way. It kills you slow.
Yeah.
Kills you slow. Where
you'll have a higher chance of waking up tomorrow.
Better chance of getting to work the next day. Yeah. It's interesting.
Fuck, man.
Crazy world.
I told you about the time we went over somebody's house and we were chilling in Florida. It was very recently after moving there. And it was just like one of my dad's coworkers or something. And said something about like we've been making like mixed drinks at home, and we're putting like with Gatorade powder and like some rum in a blender with some ice, and like so the Gatorade powder kind of helps gives you the electrolytes and whatever, and they were like, wait, you put ice in your drinks? And we're like, yeah, and they're like, oh, we don't do that. And it took us like a few back and forths to realize no, like frozen water. Like, how do you hear ice in drinks and the first thing you go to is a meth? Jesus Christ.
So funny, dude. Dude,
that's some you've been indoctrinated into a lifestyle for so long.
Forgot about frozen water.
You forgot about fucking frozen water.
So what's her scam going to be if you had to pick a scam? I see you selling fake credit cards. I'm an Astro fan.
Well, I don't know if you remember, I definitely had some shitty weed I was selling quote unquote in late high school areas. That was
I remember you telling me about that.
It wasn't even, you can't even really say it was weed. So what it was,
clippings.
Basically, yeah, it was dust. It was, I guess, a bag of like leaves that somebody had for like a decade or so. And they were like, here, did anybody want this? Like, they were cleaning their house and they found it. And they were like, does anybody want this? It used to be weed. Like, sure, I'll take it. And I was putting it in those little cigarette holders, the little cigarette tubes.
Yeah.
And they were called secret agents, because it looks like a cigarette, but it's got weed in it. And I didn't sell a lot of them. They literally didn't pass the smell test. It smelled bad.
See, I want to make some version of fake silver because the people that buy silver are crazy and half of them wouldn't notice, you know what I mean? Like what is it? It starts with the C, the whatever silver. They use it for like the fake health remedies and shit. Colloidal silver.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
Oh, it's the crazy people, man. There's so many things I wish you watched. But I feel like making some sort of fake metal, you could really
this is titanium plus.
I feel like something like that where you have like a titanium or some sort of faux metal you could flip to the crazy people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not like the companies that do it, but you could find some health nut who's buying up silver to cure his like dermatitis or some shit. I don't know.
Dude, you could probably convince a decent enough people to make a small fortune that you found the goddamn Philosopher's Stone and you're transmuting silver into gold, and they just have to bring you as much silver as they can buy, or they have to bring you, money so that you can buy, the copper to transmute into silver, to transmute into gold, whatever.
Well, think of how many people were selling bleach during COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's crazy people out there. You just gotta, there's a market for anything. You just gotta...
The upcharges on toilet paper. Dog.
I mean, they were selling the actual bleach sprays, like, to put in your mouth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? It's all like cult shit. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think it's very ironic that we grew up hearing, you can't trust everything you hear on the internet, but one of the most boomer things you can do is believe everything you hear on the internet. Dude, I have so much faith in the internet. Like, in the collective consciousness that is the internet. I trust Wikipedia.
I trust Wikipedia, but also that you can read something that might not pass the smell test, and you're going to look it up more.
Yeah.
You're going to find, where did this come from? Oh, it just came from, Dickheads Are Us on Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to say, oh, this is hot garbage. And then you can move on with your life. Whereas other people... Fucking boomers don't do that shit. Fucking read something one time and they're like, oh, well, I guess this is what we're doing now.
Yeah. It's became a really interesting problem with the lack of trust. Here's one. Trust in journalism. I remember being younger, I would always feel like, oh, the news is dumb. Like, don't trust the news. But I'd be like, want to believe in conspiracy theories. Way younger. And then understanding writing or investigative journalism, I began to think, of course there's going to be some bad journalists out there. But journalists are fucking rad. They're the people getting the fucking story. They're the people going to war zones or writing in a journal what the fuck's going on. So I don't have to go there.
Yeah.
Journalists are rad as fuck. And I don't understand where this whole not trust the media thing has come from so much. And it's crazy because now it's both political sides.
Yeah.
Like Fox News is garbage, right?
It's not news. Yeah.
but that's the thing though. On their average reporting, it's going to be mostly correct. Their opinion pieces are something else. But the average reporting from any news network is mostly good. We had examples with Israel-Palestine that were off, but most of the time, most reporting's pretty good. And now there's like a complete lack of trust in journalism, where you got Elon Musk fucking banning every fucking journalist he can off the platform because news is bad. So people don't trust mainstream news anymore. Like, it's popular not to. And it's all like secondary media companies and YouTube channels now, where everyone gets their news from a hyper specific niche political streamer or network, or
the
Epoch
the funnel you want to hear it
Times.
through.
Yeah.
The Epoch Times, dude.
Oh my God, dude. That is some of the craziest shit. But like, there's enough independent news now that whatever you believe, you can find a source.
Yeah.
There's like people actively that have been exposed as Russian propagandists during this whole Ukraine thing that have very big channels that just 24 hours a day put out lie after lie after lie, and they will have a massive audience of people that have no desire to find truth at all. Like old people who float to some that trusted like a Tucker Carlson. But I don't understand, like, it's really cool how much unique or like specific journalism there is now, but the lack of trust in it as a whole is like classic disbelief in our establishments that is like pretty inherently dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty fucked.
I like journalists.
Yeah.
They're cool. They smoke. They drink on the job. They make lots of calls on multiple phones at the same time. I always appreciate that. They get food on their ties. They take pictures when they're not supposed to.
Are you looking up? It sounds like you're AI generating pictures that you just typed in journalist and it just came up with that.
They're so cool. They drink coffee.
Oh yeah, I do that.
Coffee's disgusting, but
you're wrong.
It just doesn't taste as good as an energy drink. How much caffeine have you had today?
I had 1 cup of coffee earlier.
So like maybe
100 milligrams ish.
Oh, I that would be a hell of a cup of coffee. Maybe most coffee's like 30 to 80. 80 on the high end.
So
like
I drink cold brew, and it's typically like the stuff if I buy it specifically, which I did this time because I had some left over from the weekend. This stuff it's like 250 milligrams per cup.
That's intense. Hell yeah.
Yeah. That's
a lot.
Yeah. It's good coffee.
Yeah. I'm rocking like a steady 600 mils right now. This is this is average day. Like the FDA warning is over 300 milligrams a day is like where it starts playing with your heart. And as long as I'm under 600, I'm cool. But if I get close to 1,000, that's where I start getting a little palpy, you know?
Now, is that all like you're like stretching it out throughout the day?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
You're not chugging to a Monster right after another Monster?
No.
Monsters really don't have that much caffeine in them anyways.
They're weak.
Comparatively. It's like 180.
Yeah.
I just recently started drinking Celsius every now and then.
Yeah, they're okay.
Those are fucking nuts. I did not know how much caffeine they had in them.
Yeah.
And
I think they're 250, right?
Yeah, I think at least
3.
That.
One of them's 3. It might be the Ghosts.
I haven't had that one yet.
It's like a child's idea of an energy drink. It like
cool.
just tastes like actual sugar sauce, and they're actually flavored Sour Patch Kids or Skittles and shit.
I've seen those in the store.
They're pretty delicious because I am a child.
Did they make? Are those same people that make the ones with Sonic the Hedgehog and Naruto on them?
That sounds about right.
Because I see those at 7-Eleven sometimes, and I'm like, you know what? Am I going to buy something because of the can art?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I really want to. Maybe not today, but...
I want to be so spun on caffeine, I run like Naruto everywhere I go for the day.
I buy the no sugar monsters because it's healthy.
I don't drink.
Get that fake sugar alcohol up in my system.
Bro, I don't drink any of the sugar ones because it'd be so... It's so much sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Sugar's bad. Besides, I want all my sugar from frozen fruits.
From frozen fruits.
If I drink sugary monsters all day, I can't eat sugary fruit at night, too.
That's such a thing. We fucking, as we're doing prep, we have all this frozen fruit. We get these organic IQF frozen fruits in like 30-pound cases. And the raspberries. The raspberries are the shit, but they're so expensive. Fucking, I think a 3-pound bag of them was like $20 or something. It's fucking insane.
That is. Dude, I had an old man moment last night.
Mm-hmm.
I decided about 2 years ago, I was just not going to look at my teeth anymore. Last night I was feeling brave. Getting a hard, deep brush in, I was like, let's take a peek. Let's see how it's looking under the hood. I just felt so ashamed of my teeth. I was like, this isn't good. Then I went to bed.
Are they
sad?
Didn't you just have a bunch of dental work done?
Not enough, apparently.
Is it just like, are they like shaped bad or are they just like yellow?
They look okay. I just, I don't know if it's from my meds, a previous drug use, or like stress, but my teeth are just grinding down. Like they're just like I'm worried. You
got them little baby teeths?
They're getting there. Where like I feel like by, which wouldn't be abnormal necessarily, but I feel like by 40 or 50, a lot will be gone or like in really bad shape. But a part of me is like, yo, this is also just part of getting old. Like tons of people have, by the time they're 50, their teeth are fucked. Where it's like, some of it's genetic, some of it might be on me. Maybe just a little bit. It definitely is. I'm definitely not like avoiding response, but it makes me bummed out. I didn't like treat myself better, but it's also like, you just gotta accept getting old.
Long and like,
yeah, like it's just gotta accept getting old. Like our teeth are gonna look like shit by the time even if we did everything right.
You just gotta make sure that you start a new savings account right now, and that savings account is so that when you need to replace your teeth, you just put in, it's all gold.
Dude, that's my game plan, actually. I have money saved for fake teeth.
Exactly that.
A fake gold teeth fund has already been started. I got about $2,000 in it.
Give me the benefits of the grill without the worst parts of the grill.
I know. Dude, I've been debating with it. I still haven't paid this dentist from all that work. over 8 months ago, because
you scammed him.
It was no, it was a hood dentist, and he's trying to scam me, and I'm standing up for myself. And I've been going back and forth between 2 different insurance companies and a shady dentist for 7 months now.
When you say a hood dentist, did this man have an office?
He did.
Or just go over your boy's house and he just said,
let me hook you up, fam.
Sit in this recliner. It leans back.
It's Aspen Dental. They're like a chain dentist thing, right? Like there's a ton of them.
It's the where the what's it called? The The dentist, what's the word for dentists that are actually studying? God damn it, I'm just ruining the flow of the joke. It's where, like, the when they don't pass, dental school with, like, summa cum laude, they can't all graduate top of their class, but they graduated. They gotta go somewhere.
The dude that actually did my fillings was a dentist in Africa who started this particular dentist office on the West Side. He did the quickest and best work I've ever got done. Like, my fillings with the previous dentist literally took 5 to 6 times longer. Mm-hmm. Dude is an expert at doing the actual work. He was good as fuck. But their billing system, because it's this big chain thing, is absurd. They offer loans for people that can't pay at 40% interest.
Oh, God.
And then send you to collections. Like, during the process, I figured out how much of a scam they were, but I needed shit done right away. So now it's been bouncing back and forth between insurance and me arguing with them for 7 months.
Jesus.
Where they stopped asking for their money. But I have to see it through so it doesn't, like, I have the money, but I'm not willing to get scammed either.
Well, you might know this.
But I might get scammed.
Yeah.
And I'll deserve it. Full circle.
You might know this already, but my aunt worked in medical billing for a long, long time. If you offer, like, you just send them $1, and if they don't take that dollar, like, just $1 at a time, just a little bit, whatever. Yeah. And if they don't take it, you don't have to pay. You can go back and say, like, I offered them money and they didn't take it.
Yeah. I don't know if that's still true anymore. There used to be some of that. Honestly, I don't think they're going to collect, but I want it over with so I don't have to think about it anymore.
Right.
Because I need other shit done and I can't get in a new doctor or dentist, so...
What are they going to do? Take your teeth back?
Dude, I feel like they might.
They show up to your house and kick your door in and fucking pull them out.
Oh, fuck, dude. That's hilarious.
Some Price Hill shit right here.
We're going to need those fillings back, sir. That's funny, dude. Well, I don't think we figured anything out, but...
we definitely didn't solve anything. We didn't come to any vital conclusions.
Compassion is bad, scamming is good, and don't trust your dentist. They lie.
This message is brought to you by the Trash Cats Trashcast, and we approve this message.
Absolutely. It's fun while it lasted.
Yeah. Sorry, while I'm looking for here it is. Thanks again for listening, everybody, and thank you. I say it every goddamn week. Thanks again for listening, everybody. Thank you to Approaching Human for the use of his music. You can find his work on SoundCloud at Approaching-Human.
Thanks, John.
Make sure to check out the show page at Trash Cats Trashcast on Instagram for news and art from the show. Check out Facebook for the memes.
If you're super bored, you can check out my trashy art on Instagram at Skyzix, SKYZSCX. Nothing new going on there, but I am working on art again, so we'll see what happens.
Fancy.
It was like 2 weeks off. Trying to get back in it.
You feel like it worked?
No.
That's going to be all for us today. Stay classy, eat trashy.
Go fast, eat trash.
And fuck Eric Kahn.
Fuck Eric Kahn. God damn it, Sarah. No.
Leave that in.
You're a Weasley little liar. Pinocchio would be jealous of that nose the way it's growing. That was pretty good.
That was really good.